back outside in short sleeve golf shirts.
Yes.
And Sav's got a beautiful little skirt on. Right on. So for all of you beginners out there, or if you have a loved one who's a beginner and you want to get them started on the right side, on the correct side, not only get them started in golf, but get them started swinging on the proper side that they're supposed to swing on, because many of you are confused or concerned about, hey, am I really swinging from the correct side? And this video is to help you with that task. And you'll see it's not as difficult as you think. You just need to have the right information. And that's what we're here to do at Wisdom in Golf, is to bring you the right information for what you need. So the first thing that we want to talk about is, well, all the other sports that you've played in the past are really going to help you understand what side of the golf ball you should be on. Now Munashe, he started with cricket.
Yeah.
All right. Now cricket is very much like goaltending in hockey and baseball. It's a mix between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if this was a cricket bat, how would you be holding it?
So, given that I'll be holding it like so.
What side are you playing from, though, in cricket?
Cricket, I play my left side.
There you go.
So I'll be playing this way.
So when you're holding the cricket bat like that,
Yeah.
can you see? Face the camera, would you?
Yeah.
Face on.
Oh,
Yeah, face on. So like you're going to hit a ball in that direction. So you're basically getting ready to deliver the cricket bat from here.
Yeah.
And when you're hitting the shot, what does it look like?
Kind of step in and then.
All right.
Depending on how you predict.
So did you guys see how that worked? He steps into it. Same as in golf, same as in baseball. But the reason being because the ball's coming in lower in cricket, right? They're trying to hit these stakes at the back here.
Yeah.
And you're basically trying to prevent him from doing that.
Right.
And at the same time trying to get a hit.
That's right.
Okay. So if you look at how the hands are positioned, they're positioned for leverage. He's actually pushing down on this hand and pulling up on this one.
Yeah.
Can you see how he's putting some tension on the bat here? So we're trying to do the same thing in the golf swing and trying to get you to engage your natural kinetic chain. Mm-hmm. Now, Sav, when you played tennis,
Yeah,
what was your best side, your backhand or your forehand?
my backhand.
And I get that answer a lot. As a tennis player, when you have both hands on the tennis racket, you actually get to generate more leverage. So let me see your backhand facing on to the camera. Just pretend you're doing a backhand. All right. Now, did everyone see how she moved into her lead side, and then as she came into impact, how everything was clearing naturally?
Yeah.
Did you ever think about doing this stuff?
Nope.
Not one bit.
Nope.
So when you're on the correct side, you'll notice that a lot of good stuff is going to happen naturally in the swing. We have what we call a self-preserving system in our human machine. And so one of the things that we never see our students fail on, let's say you were going to skip a stone on water. You would do that as a righty. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's see you skip a stone in that direction. So where did you let go of the stone?
Here.
Right out here in front.
Yeah.
So hold that finish for me. You always do that to me. There, stay right there. So where are you facing? Notice she's facing me. Notice the weight's on that front foot. Now if you were to put that in slow motion, and we'll do one in slow motion, you'll notice that the first thing that happens is the foot goes down to the ground. The brain needs the ground to use that leverage to move the body out of the way so we have access to the target. All right, now here's one thing I want you to do. Take that stone again. There's your golf ball. Throw that stone into that ball. Watch it move. So you had a partial weight shift, a partial clearing of the hips, and all the energy went down here.
Yeah.
So one of the things that is going to be very, very important for you to understand is that the golf ball is an intersection on the way to the target.
Yeah.
Because if you're not moving out toward the target, then all of the stuff that we talk about in golf, like weight shift and clearing the body, is not going to happen very well. And the beauty of it is when you're on the right focus, it's extremely easy to put those together. It's actually impossible not to do it because of the way we're made and the way we're wired. So if we were to look at, here's one thing that you can get as a beginner right out of the gate, or something that you want to get for one of your beginners. It's called the grass whip. And it's made exactly like this one right here. Not the one that has a triangle at the bottom and it's all heavy and clunky. So when you go online to get one of these, it's about 20 bucks at your local hardware shop. Online, of course, because they're not gonna sell these very sharp, because this is very sharp. It's designed to cut grass. And lo and behold, it's very much designed like a golf club. It's actually the same length as a 5-iron, which is a mid-iron in golf. So if you were to get into position to cut grass, you would basically naturally set up in a way that you would be forward enough to reach the grass. And because we're cutting through grass, there's no stopping at whatever's down here, like the golf ball. Most of you are looking at a golf ball and you're thinking, boy, that's a small object.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have a lot of trouble hitting that, so I'm going to pay attention to that and make sure I hit that. The problem is the ball is a sphere, and it can be approached from all kinds, and actually an infinity of different angles, downwards and sideways. So it would be like me saying, hey, go into that round room and stand in the corner. You'd be the most confused individual ever, because there's no corners in a round room.
Yeah.
It's the same thing here with the golf ball. There are no straight lines going through there. However, when you add a target in the distance, and what we typically do is we pick an intermediate point in front of that ball. So I'm going to use a nice bright tee for you. So let's say our golf ball is here, and I want to go down the middle of this fairway. I'm going to put a tee down here. So I'm going to now cut through this in the direction of that intermediate point. So in so doing, now I actually have a direction for me to go on, right? So here, Sav, you take that, and we're going to give you a couple of dandelion stems here. So the first thing I want you to do, after you've cut the grass a couple of times, come on this side, Mu. That's dangerously sharp object. All right, so go ahead and stand right here, and let's see you cut some grass in both directions. Very good. So why don't you do that face on the camera? So cut the grass in both directions. All right. So you can see as she's cutting grass in both directions, do one toward the target. Look at where she's finishing. The energy has to go through the grass and out there. So what happens is the brain has to go to the ground, use the ground to get the body out of the way, so you have access to swing through the grass without hurting yourself.
Yeah.
And then when you're in your follow through, and notice because the blade's got two sides to it, you got to cut in the other direction on the way through. So let's say I give you two tees. And this is, you put both tees in line about 4 inches apart. And let me see you cut through both tees, Seth. All right, so you caught the first one and nicked the second one. So if I put a ball on the first one here, you're going to put your eyes on the grass there so that you see the blade ready to cut through that tee. Now, if she cuts through the tee, you can already anticipate that the ball won't go anywhere. It'll just fall to the ground. Go ahead and do that. And there it is. Wasn't that cool?
Yeah.
So notice how throughward, pardon my voice, throughward that action is, and how it didn't stop at the tees, because you know when you're cutting through something, you're not going to stop at it.
Yeah.
Which is really important. Now, take your 7-iron out. Now the golf club is a grass cutting tool first and foremost. It's got a nice sharp leading edge, not too sharp that it just digs too much into the ground. And it has a little bit of an angle on the bottom of the club, and it's got a certain width to it, so you don't take big beaver pelts out. That's Canadian for big divot. Okay? So you put the ball on the first tee, and we lower the tees a little bit more to the ground. So you still see the stem of that dandelion, right?
Yeah.
Your eyes are still on the grass between the leading edge of the club and the ball. Now what's your focus?
To use a nice heavy momentum through it.
Good. So you're going to use a nice whipping action to cut through both tees.
Yeah.
Go ahead. And lo and behold, the ball smokes off the face. Did you
Yeah.
hear that sound? Just a gorgeous sound coming off that club face, and the ball magically leaps into the air when you cut through the tees. And
Oh no.
yeah, well, you basically broke the tees on the way through, so congrats. That's why also if you go and get you get these plastic unbreakable tees, it works out very well. So let's see you do that again, Sav. However, let's make sure there's an intermediate point here.
Yeah, I had no idea where I was going.
Exactly. So if you don't have a direction to where you're going, you will default to the ball and start attacking the golf ball, and that's going to bring about a whole different set of things.
Yeah.
And there it goes. Now notice the tee was close enough
Yeah.
that you caught ball and then you went right through the tee, didn't you? Fantastic. So once we do that a couple of times, look at this. Once you do that a couple of times and you get to seeing how the ball flies, because now we see where the ball's flying, and yours is just overdrawing a little bit to the right.
Yeah.
So all we need to do is make a small adjustment in the club face. There you go. So we'll make the club face a little less closed. And then we're just going to cut through the dandelion stem again. And there it is. Straight flying ball right down the middle.
Yeah.
Awesome shot. So
I'll get
first things first. Thanks, Sav. So first things first, to get the ball in the air, you need to cut grass with the sole of the club. When you do that in a specific direction with a nice whipping action, and I invite you to go to our premium channel at wisdomingolfpremium.com, and you'll see a wonderful beginner series in there. It's worth its weight in gold. It'll get you started on the proper task. And if not, if you want to stay on YouTube, go to, I did a really cool series with our yoga teacher in Toronto. Her name is Chantal. And you call it a swing builder series, Chantal and Shawn. And then you'll see there's an 8-part series there that'll really get you started. And especially for, the female loved one in your family that you want to get going, that is a fabulous series for you to look at. So once we have that, a couple of other little tidbits that are going to really help you find the proper side for yourself. And that's one of the things that we did with Munashe, because this man here is truly ambidextrous. So when you play tennis, you play tennis with your right hand.
That's right.
Isn't it? Show me an action. Show me a nice forehand. Look at that. So that is very natural. So you had a very natural movement going on that side.
Yeah.
However, if you put both hands on the racket,
Yeah.
which is the better side, do you feel?
The left side.
The left side.
Yeah.
So reverse the hands. Do a backhand in that direction, because that would be a backhand, right?
Yeah, it'd be a backhand.
Look at that backhand. So in your tennis, you had a pretty decent backhand too, didn't you?
I did. It just wasn't as accurate, but it was powerful.
Okay, yeah. So now because in golf you have to have both hands on the club.
Yeah.
So if you have to have both hands on the club, and that's how we discovered this, if you were to swing as a righty with both hands on the racket, put the left hand on top, right hand underneath. No, the other way. Reverse them. Yeah. Now do a forehand that way, or a backhand that way, I should say. Not the same, is it?
No, it's not fluid. Yeah.
And the kinetic chain doesn't engage as well,
No.
right? And that's what we're looking for. Where do you feel the most slinging action from? On what side do you do it better? And if we were to take the baseball bat, and that's where the real proof of the pudding was, and this is what really helped you with your release, which we'll talk about in another video. Right now, what's important for you is to really get good at cutting grass. So give it a nice sling. Oh yeah. You even heard that bat whistle. That was awesome. So if we were to look now at what is golf, I mean, there's a way that, when you're playing baseball, keep that baseball bat in your hands. You'll notice that the grass whips that you'll find in the store are going to have a big handle, very similar to that of a baseball bat.
Okay.
And I think that's where, obviously, not everything is perfect. When you're playing baseball, it's a much heavier object, and you need to, the hands are going to leverage in a very different way. Notice how the thumb is not on top of the bat, it's on the side of the bat.
Yeah.
Put the other hand on, right? So you got both thumbs on the side of the bat. And because the bat is round, there's nothing to square up. It's just the ball is coming, and then show me in slow motion how you would come in and stop at impact. Yeah. So notice the ball would be here, and then the ball takes off, and then after the ball is struck, there's a beautiful release of that anatomy.
Yeah.
Either you do that, or you'd have to let go of the bat.
That's right. Yeah, with one hand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'd really hurt yourself.
That's right.
So now the thing with golf is, if you take your golf club now, Mu, and this is where I invite you to go see the most important video on grip ever, and then see best video on grip ever, right?
Yeah.
The trail hand here, go ahead and take your setup. And you feel how that index finger, because you got that wonderful, we've really worked hard on that, and you're now at a really good spot. So come on, face on to the camera here. Sav, can you make sure that, just face it.
I'll face it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you see it nicely? So notice how that index finger is hooked on to the grip, very much like your index would hook onto a ball if you were to throw the ball. Okay, so notice how that index is hooked on.
Yeah.
So now push against my hand. See how you can really leverage on that?
Yeah.
Look at how he's able to bend the shaft of that golf club with that pressure. And so this is what we need to sling through and cut through stuff. Right. So come on back here. This is the grass whip that we use at Wisdom in Golf, and you can even see, you'll see it on our Pro Shop page on our website at wisdomingolf.com. It has a much heavier end to it. Notice how it's got a different design, where this one feels a little more balanced. This one has a lot more weight in the toe, and that's to help for that nice releasing action.
Okay.
So if you look at the way you grip it now, notice it's got a regular golf grip, so you can hold it more in the fingers.
Yeah, that's right.
And be able to sling it with that trail hand properly, right?
Right.
So stand right here, and let's see you do a couple of practice swings toward the camera. Yes. And can you feel the speed that you can generate from that?
Yeah.
Whereas if you had this one, notice now that grip feels a little more awkward.
Yeah, it's really thick.
And then when you do the same,
There's no weight to...
exactly. So you feel how it cannot be slung with as much velocity.
Yes.
So you get a lot more velocity to train with this thing. So if we were to, here, stand right here in front, and let's do the same thing as what we did with Sav.
Okay.
So here's a couple of tees. Pass me that one. Use this little sucker here. And let's see you cut through those two tees. Oh yeah. So notice that's and that's what I like about this thing too, is you could put it on a bench grinder and sharpen it amazingly. I mean, turn that into a real knife.
Yeah.
So if we put, actually I'll use, because you're going to slice that one to bits, I'll use these cheap wooden tees.
Yeah, this has a lot of weight to it.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's amazing. So now go ahead and set up to that.
Okay.
Put your eyes on the grass
Yeah.
and give it a nice sling through both tees. Awesome. Now, because it's got a lot more weight, notice how the toe dug in.
Yeah, it does.
And that's one of the things that I want you guys to understand is when you're taking your setup, notice how the toe of the club is off the grass here. And you can see that properly, right, Sav?
Yeah.
You can see the toe of the club. So as you swing through, there's so much velocity that pulls the toe of the club down. So now notice that one has a lot more weight in the toe. See, notice how the toe was digging through?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see you do the same thing with a golf club now.
Okay.
You did a great job there. So there's T. You can put it nice and low to the ground. There's your intermediate point.
Okay.
So again, you're not changing your focus. So many of you step up to the ball and you say, well, my practice swing feels really good when there's no ball,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I'm guilty of that.
And how come it feels different when you get to the ball? Well, that's because your focus, instead of cutting through grass with your instrument, you're now trying to hit a golf ball with it.
Yeah.
And that's what changes the way that your body comes through. That's why you can't repeat the same practice swing because you got a different focus in your mind. So your body is just responding to what's going on in your head. So if Mu steps up here with his golf club and he keeps the same focus, go ahead and do your practice swing. So right now you're cutting grass and look at how perfectly you cut that strip of grass.
Yeah.
That's our Canadian bacon strip,
Right.
right? Not our beaver pelt.
Yeah.
So now go ahead and set up. You see how he's approaching the ball? So what he just got there, it was a beautiful reference. So now what do you see in front of you?
See where I gotta cut the stem.
There you go. So you see a dandelion that you're going to cut through.
Yeah.
So let's see a nice wonderful whip through that cut. Oh yeah, baby. Look at that golf shot. Beautiful draw, landing like a butterfly with sore feet.
Yeah.
So Munashe is in his second year golf, and look at how efficient that swing is. And that's right there for the taking for all of you. So when you're on the right focus, you get the right body language. And so that's basically all you need to focus on right now. So we need a nice grass cutting tool. A golf club will do, but this sucker here will really help you accelerate the process. And just a couple of tees in your backyard and cut through some tees. You can then do it with wiffle balls. And then when you go to the driving range, you'll now know a lot more what to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed that wonderful little video on, how to get your loved one started or how to get yourself started. And you're your own loved one too,
That's right.
And so, and then how to start from the proper side. So, the backhand versus the forehand, which one are you? And then, get yourself going at the range and get yourself cutting through dandelion stems. Enjoy that.